and with people that are just waking up, hearing this shocking news, could you walk through the timeline that we discussed last hour? Tell us about Hope Hicks, the movements she's made over the past 3 days, who she's been around, who's been exposed.
Sure thing, Joe. And first, I'll just say that, of course, since the virus reached the American shores, and we know that White House staffers have contracted it and other foreign leaders have, we, of course, wondered if this day would come. But now that it is here, the president has coronavirus, it's almost unfathomable that we are facing these headlines. This week started, it should be noted, with the president on Monday having an event at the White House about increased coronavirus testing procedures at the White House. Tuesday is when, though, this matter comes into question. So Hope Hicks is, for those who do not know, one of the president's closest aides. Was there during the 2016 campaign. Works in close proximity with him in the White House. Is often one of the last people in the room with him. One of his true trusted confidants on the West Wing staff. She traveled with the president on Tuesday to the debate in Cleveland, Ohio, where the president squared off with Joe Biden for 90 minutes. She traveled again with the president on Wednesday for a couple of stops in Minnesota, including a campaign rally. For both of those, she was on Marine One, which is the helicopter the president uses to leave from the White House to Joint Base Andrews, which is where Air Force One sits. That's a 10 or 15-minute ride in very close quarters. Now, protocol is White House staffers wear masks on Marine One. They do not, however, wear masks on Air Force One, which is also a pretty tight space. The president has his own office on the airplane. Staffers come in and out. They often linger. He has them stay. They talk. She would have been, and we know this from our reporting, she spent a lot of time with him there on the airplane, as well as in various hold rooms in Ohio on Tuesday and Minnesota on Wednesday. And it was indeed Wednesday evening where she started to feel sick while in Minnesota. That morning, she had taken a test. Everyone who's around the president has to take a rapid test. That includes reporters who travel with him in part of the press pool. Her test on Wednesday morning came back negative. But when she started to feel ill Wednesday evening, she was isolated on Air Force One on the flight back to Washington, and then took another test. That test came back positive. And White House senior staff, including the president, were notified that on Thursday morning. Still happened on Thursday, though, despite knowing that Hope Hicks had come back with a positive diagnosis. The press secretary, Kayleigh McEnany, briefed reporters at the White House yesterday morning in what was a contentious exchange with several of them. And then the president, despite knowing he had had a confirmed exposure to a positive test, traveled to Bedminster, New Jersey for a fundraiser where he mingled in close proximity with several dozen guests, none of them wearing masks. And then he returned to the White House. And it was in last night, he then received a more accurate test that takes hours to process. It was then, he alluded to that when he was on his appearance with Sean Hannity at 9 o'clock, and then confirmed around 1 a.m. that indeed he and the First Lady had been confirmed. They were positive for COVID-19.
So, Jonathan, can you tell me who else traveled in close proximity with Hope Hicks on Tuesday and Wednesday?
On Tuesday, she traveled with the senior leadership of both the West Wing, but also the campaign, and several members of the Trump family. And Joe, we mentioned last hour how Donald Trump Jr., Eric Trump, Laura Trump, and several other family members were in the audience in Cleveland, and they took their seats wearing masks and then proceeded to take them off and sat there in the audience for 90-plus minutes maskless, despite guidance from the debate commission and this venue in Cleveland, despite being asked by a member of the Cleveland Clinic to put on masks. They refused. We know, of course, that this has been part of the projection strategy that the president and his team have taken all along. Supporters at his rallies rarely wear masks. He crowded people together on the White House South Lawn for his acceptance speech during the Republican convention. They weren't wearing masks. The president himself very, very rarely wears one. The Hope Hicks, of course, on Wednesday also traveled with a number of government officials, Jared Kushner and Stephen Miller, Kayleigh McEnany, the press secretary. And within the West Wing, of course, she has been in close contact with Mark Meadows, chief of staff, and other high-level senior ranking officials who themselves have been been in touch with and spent time with senior members of Congress. Mark Meadows has spent a lot of time on Capitol Hill with COVID negotiations, relief negotiations, and of course, there's the president's Supreme Court nominee, Justice Amy Coney Barrett, who not only was with the president a few days ago, but has been repeatedly with Mark Meadows, who's been acting as her guide on Capitol Hill, meeting Republican senators, all of whom now would need to be part of a robust contact tracing program within the White House. This calls into question whether or not the presidential debates can still occur. This calls into question whether the Supreme Court hearings can still occur. And of course, even in a best case scenario for the president, were he not to fall ill, he is now supposed to quarantine for 10 to 14 days, which would sideline him from the campaign trail with only a little over a month to go.
Thanks for checking out MSNBC on YouTube, and make sure you subscribe to stay up to date on the day's biggest stories. And you can click on any of the videos around us to watch more from Morning Joe and MSNBC. Thanks so much for watching.